The Jets didn't do anything crazy today, did they? No, of course not. Oh wait, no, they fired their head coach, Robert Saleh. Everything is not okay in New York.
But everything's cool in Houston. Maybe a little too cool. Oh, CJ, why are you so cool?
Yeah, the only time I've ever been as cool or as confident as CJ Stroud is after successfully parallel parking my full-size truck on a busy street. That's right, a perfect three-point turn is the equivalent of throwing a 67-yard FDR in an NFL game. Maybe only needing one wipe after a big shit. But that's it. Big Kirko hit 500, and the Jets fired their head coach, Robert Saleh. Burrow and Lamar were a spectacle, and of course the Jets fired Robert Saleh. And the Giants stunned the Seahawks, and of course Aaron Rodgers had Robert Saleh fired. The London bridges fell right on the Jets, and those bridges fell right on Robert Saleh's job. And I've got it all for you today on the real winners and losers from Week 5, starting with the only candidate officially banned from every ballot in all 50 states, the Blop 10. In Broncos center, Luke Wattenberg is officially mimicking my snapping style. He will replace me this week on the Blop 10. Number 10, Greg Zuerlein, trying to warm up amongst all these cheerleaders. Look at the focus on this man. Beautiful women circling all around him, and still he keeps his eyes planted firmly on the football and the uprights. He needs to show this clip to his wife immediately. If this went poorly, we'd be talking about a very different version of Greg the Leg. Number 9, Odell Beckham Jr. was active for the first time as a Miami Dolphin, and he showed up to the game cosplaying as a flamboyant Davy Crockett? Davy Crockett? Woo! Hey! Oh! Odell, you can't dress like the bully from A Christmas Story and then have 0 catches. Flop 8? Why is Skip Bayless so weird?
I am dripping wet with sweat in all my rooting life.
If Skip was dripping sweat after Vandy upset Alabama, I know his house was flooding after Dallas beat Pittsburgh on that 4th and goal touchdown.
I have never been more overjoyed, more inspired by any game I've ever watched, ever rooted for, than my Vanderbilt Commodores.
Blob 7, Jordan Love's pick 6. Will Levis might be on a bye week, but his indomitable spirit does not take Sundays off. George Pickens wrote, "Open fucking always" on his eye black. If 7-Eleven had any balls, they would make this their new slogan. Also, that may have been false advertising based on his 3 receptions for 26 yards. And grammatically speaking, it doesn't hold up like last week's Kill Everybody. Although he was 1 for 1 on attempting to rip off Cowboys' heads. Credit to this official for stopping the fight with his flag still in hand. The Broncos are going to be on Thursday Night Football this month in New Orleans. If you're trying to go out to that game, check out today's sponsor, Game Time, to get your tickets. Game Time built the ticket marketplace that makes it faster and easier to get into your favorite events at a moment's notice. So, if you're trying to go to any game right now, download the Game Time app, create an account, and enjoy the best app for last-minute ticket deals. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. It's not just sports either. You've got access to music, theater, comedy shows in more than 60 cities across the United States and Canada. I used Game Time to see my friend of the show, Gareth Reynolds, when he was in Denver. Plus, there's a new feature called Game Time Picks that filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You can also toggle the all-in pricing feature so you know the actual total due at checkout, and Game Time offers the lowest price guaranteed. So take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use my code GOODSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem with my code GOODSPORTS for $20 off. Download it today. What time is it? No, game time. It's game time. It's game time. Block 5, Kyler Murray started celebrating his touchdown run at the 44-yard line. That was cool, but I'll really be impressed when you celebrate a touchdown pre-snap. Number 4, Dak Prescott set what I'm calling is an unbreakable NFL record when he threw 2 picks in the same game on 2 different days. Blop 3. Deshaun Watson is playing terribly.
Deshaun Watson is awful. That if somebody wanted to arrest him for being awful, I would accept it.
And Fox broadcaster Terry Bradshaw says it's time to...
Do you put Watson down now?
Now that might be a little harsh, but I guess it is what happens when you don't behave well in the dog pound. Blop 2, this the Bills. The Bills. Texan special teamer Neville Hewitt got my attention first. Then rookie Keon Coleman nearly became the first NFL player to get a concussion after getting hit in the head with the football. Nothing will top Josh Allen fumbling the basketball.
What's out of bounds before he fumbled the basketball? The ball be placed at the 39-yard line.
No wonder they lost that game. And Blop 1, murder was the celebration they gave me. How you like that sack? Now, I'm going to pretend to blow off your head with a shotgun. Ha 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 ha. That was a penalty and his team did lose. Blop my heart. The movie Parent Trap played every day in my house for a month straight. It's my 4-year-old's favorite film, and she only watches films. And the Vikings just won their way into my heart with this Parent Trap celebration. And I told you I would get a real dagger for my Revenge Dagger award. This week, I think I am giving the Revenge Dagger to DJ Moore. Look, Stefon Diggs wins the actual daggers in this revenge game, but DJ Moore had 105 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Bears against his old team. DJ also, he's going to share the Spider-Man meme award this week with former Bear Darnell Mooney, who also had exactly 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. Weird, right? And Caleb Williams played his best game as a pro, 304 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and the 3rd highest passer rating of the weekend. The Bears have quietly won 8 straight home games going back to last season, and just like my Broncos, they're 3-2. Now I'm going to put this away because I'm scared I'm going to hurt. Losing weather, the hour-and-a-half rain delay for Sunday night football. Outside of this one incredible throw from Dak and catch by CeeDee Lamb, this game was not really fun. Certainly not a game that goes so late into an NFL Sunday that started bright and early with the London game. Winning finish, though, is going to the Cowboys, who were trailing by 4, with fullback Hunter Luke bulldozing his way for 18 yards with less than a minute on the clock. Steelers defender Landon Roberts leaps over the line, blasting the ball out of Uncle Rico Dowdle's hands. But unlike Cam Newton in the Super Bowl, Dak actually channels his inner Superman and recovers the fumble. Dak saved the game there, and I'm giving my winning catch to Jalen Tolbert to hand Dallas a very important road victory. Yes, some might say that is a grown man catch. My losing arrest? Well, that's going to Patriot safety Jabril Peppers, who was arrested for assault and cocaine possession. Now, he didn't play because of a shoulder injury, but this occurred on Saturday morning. Peppers is a team captain. Oops, sorry, I said that wrong. Peppers was a team captain. New England demoted Ramondre Stevenson, but he was their leading rusher, and the Patriots managed to fall to Tyler Huntley and the decimated Dolphins 15-10. The Pats might be the worst team in the league. They had more penalty yards than passing yards at a point that was way too late in the game for that to be acceptable. Their passing game has been historically inept through 5 games. Jacoby Brissett has thrown for just 696 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a game and a half of yards for Kirk Cousins. To top it off, they're wasting a top 10 scoring defense. Meanwhile, Bill Belichick is out there living his best life, not giving 2 shits about dealing with an arrest on game day weekend. So yeah, Bill's a winner. My winning QB? Kirk Cousins. He might have officially saved the forward pass with his performance on Thursday Night Football. Not only Did he throw the game-winning touchdown pass in overtime? Kirk surpassed 500 yards in a single game, the 25th time that's happened in NFL history, and the first 500-yard game since Joey Burrow did it in December of 2021. Only the second 500-yard game in Falcons history. Kirk was a master and commander on Thursday Night Football, fitting the ball into glory hole-sized windows and throwing 4 TDs in a shootout with Baker Mayfield, who did manage to get Mike Evans his 100th career receiving touchdown. This game from Kirk empowered the rest of the NFL to get back to good passing. I don't think the 9 combined touchdowns from Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson happens without Kirk reopening the door to that exclusive VIP Coles dressing room. Thank you, Kirk, and thank you to the Falcons for turning him loose and letting him throw the ball 58 freaking times. We needed this, and now our country can finally start to heal. Losing QB. With great sadness, I must give the losing quarterback dishonor to Josh Allen, who was an MVP candidate through the first 3 weeks of the season, and since, he's looked like pre-2020 Josh Allen. The Bills climbed back into their game against the Texans, but Josh completed less than a third of his passes. He was 9 for 30 for a $131. His completion percentage of 30 is the lowest in over 30 years for a QB with 30 passing attempts. It's a 30 for 30 I never wanted to fucking say. He did throw a touchdown, and he did avoid throwing an interception, but that might have been because he was so inaccurate that not even the defense could catch one of his passes. I don't like saying any of this. If he does literally anything more in this game, if he was just average, the Bills would have won this game on the road. I was ready to crown them the best team in the NFL, but it's really clear they go as Josh Allen goes. The good news is the terrorists are losing. Sean McDermott led his team throw the ball 3 times in a row with 31 seconds left on the clock in the game. The Texans did have 3 timeouts, okay? So I get throwing, kinda. Knowing Houston would call those timeouts, right? But if Buffalo forced them to burn those timeouts, I'm not sure Houston can run a play to get 5 yards closer and call a timeout and hit that long field goal to win. Here's a new one. Who had a better incompletion? You decide in the comments. CJ Stroud spins out at 2 sacks to throw his first incompletion of the game. Even his incompletions are impressive. Oh God, no, I'm turning into Tony Romo and Chris Collinsworth. Is CJ Stroud my Mahomes? But then Lamar Jackson may have had a better incompletion. Maybe Pat Shurmur was ultimately right the entire time.
We did a drill today where we were actually trying to throw incompletions.
My Amber Alert for the bed shitters? Well, that's going to the Seahawks. You and the 49ers are the only 2 teams who were in my top power rankings to lose to teams in the powerless rankings. And you lost the game on a blocked field goal? The Giants returned for a touchdown? Gross. Giants, you earned the winning leap. Yay! My boomer take.
Get off my lawn.
Stop celebrating like you won the Super Bowl when you still have a losing freaking record. Brian Dable had to yell, stop posting that shit to Wandale Robinson, who was live on IG in the locker room. Oh, no, sir! The Seahawks were still without Boye Mafe and Byron Murphy, but Seattle, I fear, isn't as good as we thought, and the Giants aren't as bad as we thought. Dan Jones played a very nice game of football. My winning next man ups, that's going to running back Tyrone Tracy and receiver Darius Slayton. They combined for 251 yards of offense and were big difference makers for the Giants. Slayton really next man up for the injured Malik Neighbors. Tyrone Tracy has shown a few flashes this season, and with Devin Singletary sidelined to injury, he gashed the Seahawks for 129 yards on 18 carries, proving he needs more carries every week. Winning foreigners, the British. The best quarterback was not Aaron Rodgers. The best quarterback was not Sam Darnold. 'Twas Nick Mullins coming in for 1 play and throwing a 23-yard completion. KOC, that is a big KOC play call, my friend. Sam Darnold came back into the game after taking a brutal shot, and his pitch bounces off running back Ty Chandler's hands. The Jets nearly scooped and scored, but they didn't. That was the Vikings' 5th lost fumble of the year, which is the most in the league, and Aaron Rodgers immediately threw a pick 6 to rip freaking Van fucking Ginkel, his second of the season. And I'm kind of falling in love with JJ McCarthy tweeting about his teammates while he recovers from injury. In Rodgers' 30 starts against the Purple People Eaters, this was the first one where he tossed multiple interceptions, just his 5th ever pick 6. The Vikings defense didn't allow a single first down in the first quarter, and the Jets are in trouble if they don't land Devontae Adams. Losing stat? No, not that one, although that's concerning. I'm talking about Rip Van Ginkel, with 2 receiving touchdowns this year. He now has more receiving touchdowns than Zach Ertz, Travis Kelce, and Keenan Allen, and Tyler Lockett, Tyler Boyd, Mike Evans, Austin Eckler, Dallas Goedert, Mark Andrews, Dalton Schultz, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Gabe Davis, Jalen Waddle, Sam Laporta, Romeo Doubs, Jake Ferguson, George Pickens, and Tyreek Hill combined. That's real. Winning game manager, I'm giving it to Sam Darnold. He threw a pick with 9:47 left in the fourth quarter, up 10. Not very manager-like, but he got it done. He managed the shit out of the rest of the game and got the Vikings to 5-0 in London, mostly because he threw 2 fewer interceptions than Jets QB Aaron Rodgers. That's a sentence that really wouldn't have made any sense 2 or 3 years ago, huh? Sam led the NFL in touchdown passes through the first 4 weeks, but didn't throw any against the Jets. Didn't matter. He completed just 14 passes and managed to get the victory despite just 59 yards on the ground out of their 2 running backs. But the fact that Minnesota held on to get the win without an amazing game from Darnold just tells you how well-rounded this team is. A winning wide receiver? Well, the Bengals should have paid Jamar Chase as early as humanly possible because his price tag just got a lot higher after this weekend. In the overtime loss against the Ravens, Chase had 10 grabs for 193 yards and a pair of touchdowns, including a bubble screen where he shook a couple tackles and took it 70 yards to the house. The last receiver to be really good at doing that at that level was Demaryius Thomas. T. Higgins also had 2 touchdowns and 83 yards of his own, so this looked like a vintage performance from the Bengals passing attack. Naturally, they still lost the game. But this was the winning game of the weekend. Pure entertainment. Nearly 5 quarters of Cardinals scoring. 79 combined points. Oh, God, yes! Oh, I love it. So I'm giving my Josh Allen overrated award to Lamar Jackson, the alleged MVP of the 2023 season. He needed 67 minutes of football to beat the 1-4 Bengals. I may have to convert the Kirk Cousins award to the Joe Burrow award because no matter what Joe Burrow does, his team now loses. Lamar, though, decided to glory hound and start throwing touchdowns after probably purposefully fumbling the snap. And yeah, I've got an MVP for you, Lamar. Most overrated player. My winning monarchy?
They offered me the chance to lead them, to teach them, to be king.
King Henry, who scored his 100th career touchdown. The King went over 10,000 yards in his career. Not in this game. That'd be crazy. And there's only one thing to say.
I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
But his reign came to an abrupt end as he was tackled for a safety. Joe Burrow threw 5 touchdowns. Lamar threw 4 and rushed for 55. The NFL highlight video from this game is 20 minutes long, and I'm starting to think Lamar Jackson can defeat the Chiefs in the playoffs.
The victory belongs to the Lord.
Amen.
My only Mahomes award actually does go to Lamar for making this throw, which only Mahomes could make, but Lamar totally did. That play saved the Ravens from losing. Lamar fumbled another snap, thinking that was part of the secret sauce, but couldn't make the magic happen twice. And just when you thought his peasants were leaving for Ohio, Derrick Henry called game with this run late in OT. My winning running back? No one lived up to their name quite like Tank Bigsby on Sunday. He was truly a tank on his first touchdown run, bullying through the Colts defense with a slight assist from Jags offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland. Then, when Jacksonville desperately needed it, Bigsby ripped off a 65-yard touchdown run that kept the Jags on schedule as they tried to keep pace with his eliteness, Joseph Flacco, who was so close to winning the best running back this week award. Bigsby had 103 yards on 13 carries. The first time in his career he crossed the century mark. The Jags needed all of them to get their first win of the season, and unlike Tiananmen Square, no one on the Colts could stay in front of the tank. Winning college 2023 LSU, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and official Brian Thomas Jr., all studs. Brian lit it up. It wasn't just his 85-yard touchdown or his body of work this season. He clocked the fastest speed by a Jaguar ever at 22.15 miles per hour. If that's the fastest Jaguar ever, then both the animal and the car are lying, overrated pieces of shit. If I'm on a British highway or in the jungle and I see a Jaguar, I'm not running. No, wait, I am running, and I'm outrunning them both. This was an exciting game, but it was a poor man's version of Bengals-Ravens. My winning defender is none other than Pat Surtain II, the best corner in the NFL. The Broncos were on the verge of falling behind 17-3 in the early second quarter against the Raiders before PS2 picked off Gardner Minshew, also the second, and took it 100 yards back to the house. A 10-point play.
The significance of the play is it's a 10-point play because they're probably, in a minimum, going to kick a field goal.
That's right. That touchdown absolutely turned the game on its head. The ultimate momentum changer, and Denver dominated the Raiders from that point on. Surtain added a second pick in this game, and this was one of those games that should push him into the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Maybe PFF will rank him higher than the 63rd best corner in the league now. Huh, PFF? Where's your dumb grades at now? Did a white corner get an interception? Oh my God, yes, Riley Moss did it, but I covered that all here in this video. Winning stat? Quarterback Jaden Daniels has been a revelation this season. And against the Browns, he continued the blistering start to his career with 238 yards passing and another 82 on the ground. Daniels became the first quarterback this season. Hold on, scratch that. The first quarterback in NFL history with 1,000 passing yards and 250 rushing yards in his first 5 games. It's really incredible how quickly Daniels and Dan Quinn have washed off the stink of Dan Snyder. They got the right Dans in the building now. My losing team, the Browns. Dear God, they're bad. Oh boy. But instead of wasting any time talking about the Browns, I want to say congratulations to Brian Robinson's 2 rushing touchdowns with just 18 yards. You are officially a touchdown thief. The winning streak continues. Xavier McKinney can't stop and will not stop intercepting passes. Going back to last year, McKinney has a pick in 6 straight games, 1 with the Giants, 5 with his new team in Green Bay. That's an NFL record. And I would say at this point you should probably stop throwing at him, but McKinney is everything, everywhere, all at once. He might be behind me right now. Oh, good, he's not there. He's there, isn't he? Romeo Doubs, of course, was suspended by the Packers for this game after he demanded Jordan change his first name to Juliet. Juliet, Love, Romeo. Where are my Shakespeare nerds at? I love Jaden Reed, though, who would have had the winning catch this week if Jalen Tolbert didn't snake it at 4 a.m. or whatever.
I mean, it was miraculous. I mean, JT literally sprained his nuts. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Sprained his nuts to play before it comes back, makes the game winner. Unbelievable. My losing team, the Niners. For the second time in 3 games this season, the 49ers have had a win probability of 85% or more midway through the 4th quarter and lost the game. Now, I'm 99% sure those percentages are just made up, but it still goes to show how badly the Niners have blown 2 games against NFC West opponents. Ones they should be beating. This time against the Cardinals, the 49ers had a 23-10 lead at home and ended up losing. They didn't score any points in the second half. First time in Brock Purdy's career that's ever happened, and a big reason they lost. Jordan Mason fumbled the ball with goal to go, while Christian McCaffrey is hanging out in Germany getting God only knows what injected into his Achilles. The Niners are 2-3 to start the season, but of course, they're just a game behind the Seahawks with a chance to take the lead in the division next week. And finally, Monday night made me accept a cold, harsh truth. The Chiefs are uncursable. They are the first real team to defeat the curse wheel this season from my Wednesday power ranking show. I knew the wheel was in trouble when Brian Cook somehow came down with this
ball, picking off Derek Carr in the first quarter. The Saints made one play on offense all night, and it was an FDR to Rashid, the need for speed. Shaheed. The Saints had Kansas City backed up into a 2nd and 34, and I knew the entire time the Chiefs would convert. Hell, I could feel Travis Kelce looking for the lateral to move those sticks before it happened. What I didn't foresee is Juju Smith-Schuster and Kareem Hunt combining for 232 yards in the win for the Chiefs. The Chiefs can lose every skill player on offense, won't matter, because Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes will keep them afloat. As long as they stay healthy on defense, that team is uncursable. My winning interception, though, it's going to a Saint. Big man Colin Sanders picking this ball off in the end zone. It bounces off Juju's hands. Saunders, who was a running back in high school, returns at 37 glorious big man yards, becoming the 3rd fastest run for a man weighing over 300 pounds in NFL history. That's exactly why next-gen stats were invented. And when Mahomes heard I was complimenting incomplete passes, he did this bullshit. Sorry, Mahomes, no soup for you. And yes, the biggest losers of the week may be the Jets, who fired Robert Saleh. If you're feeling sad, Jersey fans, I've got shirts for you, benchwarmershop.com. I'll have more on the Robert Saleh firing later today. But with a win in their next game and a couple losses in the AFC East, the Jets will be in first place. So as bad and as dumb and as stupid as this looks, it might work out. It might. Aaron Rodgers got to get it together, though, on the field. Thanks for watching the real winners and losers for Week 5. Make sure you come back tomorrow for your official power rankings, which are getting shaken up this week. Oh yeah, subscribe here, too. Come on. It's free.